Moving on to our next story. Time now for a WION exclusive. Roshan Mahanama is one of Sri Lankan cricket's greatest ambassadors. He was a big part of the team that put their country on the map with a stunning World Cup victory in 1996. He then later served with this distinction as one of the ICC's preeminent match referees. Here is he reminiscing and talking about the current state of Sri Lankan cricket in conversation with WION's Dasunya Thoda at the launch of his new book in Colombo.
When you started, Sri Lanka were known as minnows in the world of cricket. But by the time you retired, Sri Lanka was a team that has won a World Cup and was a team that everyone sort of thought twice before competing with, and was a team that was not to be taken lightly. How has that journey been, being a member of that World Cup winning team?
I think I was part of both phases of Sri Lanka cricket, I would say, from not being true professionals in that sense to have turned into professional cricketers. When we were playing, we had to have a steady job. We used to go to work. Those organizations hired us to do promotions and maybe more like brand ambassadors of the organization, but we were very grateful to them for having given that opportunity. But then I think since mid-90s it started to change. I don't think we got paid quite well until we won the World Cup. It was not about money, but it was the passion that we had for the game. We played together as a unit. We've had our share of issues, but we were able to put all that behind us and move forward. And in that 1996 World Cup, we would have been one of the experienced teams in the circuit, but they never gave us that due credit. We were the underdogs throughout the tournament, even going into the finals, going into the knockout stage of the tournament and the finals. But I think that helped us to be relaxed because we were not under any pressure, and that would have been, from my point of view, the turnaround in Sri Lanka cricket.
Also, speaking of that 1996 team specifically, was a very close-knit team where each one of them had their own personalities, their own individuality that they brought into the sport. And your sort of teamwork as unity was really shown when the whole Muthaiya Muralidharan no ball incident happened in Australia. And the 1996 World Cup, the finalists at the end of the day were also Australia. What are your thoughts on this journey and how Arjuna Ranatunga was as a captain as well?
Arjuna was the father figure. That does not mean that we agreed to everything that he said, but we had to have a leader who would command the respect of all the individuals. You quite rightly said, were quite united, quite close to each other. Maybe it's just our background, and what happens is all the cricket, or mainly the club cricket structure at the time, revolved around with the bigger clubs here in Colombo, and we knew one another quite well. We had played against each other from school days and after that during club tournaments as well. So in that sense, for us to build that team spirit was quite easy.
When you look at Sri Lanka cricket now, it has sort of taken a bit of a detour from what it used to be back in the day. As a legend of the sport itself, as a champion of the sport representing the country, what are your thoughts on the current situation of the sport?
I think winning the World Cup was the greatest thing that happened, but by saying that people who never looked at getting involved with Sri Lankan cricket had decided or decided subsequently that they need to get involved for the betterment of the game, I really wouldn't know why people need to fight to get involved in doing an honorary job.
Has the sport sort of been politicized in your opinion?
In Sri Lanka, everything comes under the sports law. So up to an extent you can say that it's been politicized. Then people can turn around and say, oh, they're part of a committee right now. But reluctantly I got involved purely because we were given promises that they will make certain changes for the betterment of the game. And I still feel that there's a lot that needs to be done. We do not have authority. We are there only to advise the minister and people at the cricket board, but the final say lies in the hands of the administrators at the board.
There's also been much talk that you might be taking up a position at Sri Lanka cricket sometime soon. Any confirmation you could give to us about this?
That's only a talk. They offered me to take over the side about 4 months ago. At the time, I said I need some time to think it over. If I'm getting involved, I'm at a stage in life to try and give something back and leave a better place for the younger generation. So if I'm called upon to do so, I will definitely consider positively. But that's not what I want to do.